Hello and welcome to Nerdarchy. For nerds by nerds, I'm Nerdarchist Dave. Today I'm joined by all these fine nerds, which you can find links to down in the description below. We've got Tate, Jezi, Carlos, Bobby, myself, and Nerdarchist Ted, of course. Um, Not only will you find links to everybody in the description, but also Ted and I will be at a local con in Violin, New Jersey in a couple of months. You can find a link to that, so you can go check that out if you want to go play some games with us. It'll be a blast. But with that, we're going to jump in. We're going to be playing some Other Skies using our D666 system. It is in alpha mode, so some things may change from session to session. We may change how the rules work, but bear with us as we figure things out. With that, let's jump into our recap from session 5, Friend in Need. The victory in the West Valve Junction tasted like soot and oily bile. You pulled Jeremiah from the blood alley chair, but the man who came back wasn't the man who went in, gray-skinned, catatonic, and leaking the rhythm of the void. He's become a siphon, a living anchor for something heavy and hungry. Your first stop was the Spicy Beetle, where the air is thick with fried chitin and academic ego. There you found Lonnie locked in a shouting match with Della Gearhart, a proctor of logic who thinks the other place is just bad math. After Snaggle and Rook instigate a masterful soup-flinging riot to distract the proctor, you smuggle Lonnie and Jeremiah back to the sterile iron of Precinct 31. The diagnosis was grim. Jeremiah's soul weight has been replaced. To save him, you need to perform a transference. You have the vessels, the cultist dagger, and the medallion, but you lack the voice. You needed the harmonic lead. The trail led you into the dead ends where you hunted for the shadow saints of the tunnels. The Vainshef's family, you discovered their secret that they aren't just tunnel scrappers, but citizens with city faces who blend into the mid-deck crowds that help the forgotten. You tracked them to a flat near the clock tower district and met Pips, a girl who doesn't speak but mimics machinery of the city with haunting precision. In her hands, you found the fungus style that pulses with light when she hums the preacher's chant. She has the frequency, she is the key. Now you stand in a cold interrogation room at the precinct. Lonnie is sketching jagged ink lines on the floor. Martha Vainsheft watches her daughter with trembling hands. Jeremiah strapped to the table, his breathing wet, a wet mechanical rattle. The ritual is ready, the vessels are waiting, and the 13 strands of corruption are beginning to vibrate. Mostly contained, the door is locked, the inkwell is wet. Who gives the word to start the song? But before you guys do start, somewhere else in the precinct, slightly before now, another meeting is taking place. Hope is standing in the chief's office, the smell of expensive gnome cigars from his vacation still clinging to his coat, while the thrum of the precinct serves as a cold welcome home. Transition from neon sky to casinos of New Renwick to the iron great gloom of Precinct 31 is enough to give any man the bends. You've only been back to Haven for an hour, the glitter of the gnome strip still fresh in your mind, but the air in the chief's office is cold, heavy, and with the smell of stale coffee and burnt ether. Chief Arizon Usiel doesn't look up as you enter. He's staring at the wall, his hands clasped behind his back that looks more bowed than when you left. On his desk lies a single battered copper badge and a shredded leather satchel with only remains of the alley cats. Sergeant Gus the Hammer Higgins Sergeant Gus the Hammer Higgins' belongings. New Renwick is a lie, Hope, the chief rasped. His voice is like gravel in a gearbox. A bright, loud lie. I'm sorry to bring you back to the truth so abruptly. He finally turns. His eyes are bloodshot. He slides a folder across the desk. It's thin, mostly crime scene sketches of oily black sludge and twisted metal. The alley cats are gone, most of them anyway. We sent them into the West Valve Junction to track a string of disappearances, and the dark just swallowed them. We found what was left of their gear in the steam vent. It wasn't a clean kill. It was an extraction. The chief leans heavily on the desk. pointing toward the heavy interrogation doors down the hall. The only lead we have is a group of transfer rejects called Mostly Contained. They're down in interrogation 4 right now with an unlicensed scholar, a scrapper kid trying to perform some kind of occult surgery on a catatonic witness. It's messy. It's probably illegal. It's the only thin line we have between Haven and the Void. He looks at you, the other Ficer who knows how to fix things that are broken beyond repair. Go down there, audit the ritual. If it works, get that witness talking. If it goes sideways, make sure the precinct stays in the sky. Welcome back to the Screaming Night Commandos, Hope. Get to work.
Sir.
I'm sorry about the alley cats.
Give a salute. On my way.
So, the door to the interrogation chamber. Do you guys have it locked?
I don't know if that would be an important detail. Do we think this dude's not giving us any kind of like signs that he's gonna like bolt on us, so I don't think that's necessary.
All right. So, as you guys are getting ready to begin to start the ritual, the door opens. Would you like to describe Hope to us, Carlos?
Absolutely. As he goes into the scene, you guys see a grizzled old man. Most of his best years are behind him as he looks up at all of you guys. And then down on the little kobold, he's like, hey, this is one team Chief wasn't kidding about. You guys definitely need some shaping up, but we can do this, I believe. Something about
you are
Hope, special agent. I don't know. Yeah.
He's one talk about shape. Has gray hairs, looks old, probably going to die soon.
Yeah. We all die one day.
In the center of the room, there's a dwarf strapped to the table. There's a trio of a small family, a mother, a teenager, and a little girl. A figure that is wearing kind of like a robes and like scholar robes, but then also has like a smock over top that is stained with ink. Who's someone none of them are you familiar with. There's the possibility you've run across Mostly Contained in the precinct before, and vice versa.
So who do we got here?
well. We were just about to start. It'd be quite a lot to try and explain while delaying this man's recovery. Can the explanation wait?
Absolutely.
I will turn back to the the one leading the ritual and be like, I think we can begin. All right, Dave, I think you're muted.
Okay, I thought that was just me.
I think I'm muted too. So Lonnie, the discredited scholar, stands in the center of the room. There in the air in there is freezing, despite despite being inside the precinct. It's much colder than normally. He has finished the ink circle around Jeremiah, who is thrashing against his restraints. His eyes are rolled back to reveal nothing but pulsing violet veins. Now Lonnie screams over a sudden roar of wind inside the room. Pips find the song. Snaggle, get ready to steal. Get the steel ready. If those 13 strands touch the floor, they'll anchor us all to the bottom. Pips looks at Rook, her small hand trembling as she prepares to open her mouth. She catches his mechanical eye looking for strength to sing a nightmare. Seraphine and Lucian, you feel the Aether beginning to churn. The door is open, mostly contained. The ritual is live. Who makes the first move to catch the dark? So, I don't know if you guys remember from the last session. The idea was Seraphine was going to psychically help kind of stabilize and direct Pips for the chanting. Rook, you had the option either by bolstering the ritual through the Aether that powers the core of your being, or by supporting Pips and comforting her. Lucian, you are kind of like the conduit for the ritual itself, while Snaggle is using the dagger you took from the cultist, and you're told you're going to have to catch and wind the strands as they're removed from Jeremiah. Now you guys have an Etherficer in the mix who could easily bolster the Ethermancer instead of using Rook's core.
Absolutely.
So with that, let's start with Seraphine. Give me a will check in order to help kind of stabilize Pip's mind and kind of steel her for what's coming.
So 11, and I have Aether showing.
All right, so you gain Aether. She begins doing the chant. Also, at this point, Rook, give me a give me a charm roll. I will let you roll with karma though, because you have a connection with Pips, which means roll all 3 dice and use the 2 highest numbers plus that.
So was that explained to you, Carlos?
Karma?
Yes.
Essentially advantage, yes.
So you
I
got
got a
rolling
7.
with karma or rolling against karma?
Okay. Ah, I get it.
I got a 7.
A 7. Okay. 7 partial success. There is a bit of backlash from the residents coming off of Pips, but you're able to comfort her and guide her through, but at the price of you get a point of corruption. So you guys have 1.5 successes so far. Carlos, let's throw you in the deep end now.
Alrighty.
And give me an intellect in order to bolster the ethermantic powers that be.
Alrighty. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
All right, perfect. 2.5 successes. All right, Lucian. Now you need to direct these energies and try and pull the corruption out of Jeremiah.
Did it mean anything if the boss is showing?
It does. Which boss is showing?
Good one. I'm sorry, I'm
you
using Zoomafium jargon, but
that's fine. No, it's the same. So that's talent.
Okay.
You gain a talent.
okay. Mark that down.
So I have wisdom of the ages. You're part of the world in a way other mortals could never understand. Gain a +1 forward to probe the veil pertaining to Aether or corruption in the world. Would that apply here?
Yes, it would.
So that's going to be an 11 with talent showing.
So you gain talent, and that is another success.
Woohoo!
Now, as you begin, as the chanting begins, and you begin pulling the corruption from Jeremiah, almost like a puppet master using the strings and kind of like pull out these strands of black inky darkness from him, and they begin trying to escape into the room. Snaggle, you need to use that dagger and wind them.
Okay, bet. Let's go.
So you can use precision.
Okay, precision. Love it. Okay, I have 5, 6, 3. So that's 9 plus 2. So that is 11.
Yeah, you easily begin wrapping it up, spooling it, almost like twirling spaghetti with a fork.
And it is very haphazard. He is struggling with this. Like, he is not coordinated.
I think it's more like ADHD going on than lack of coordination.
Oh, yes. It's kind of like that, like 1 minute he's over here, and he's just struggling and getting crazy with it. Next, he's over there.
Yeah, at that, in kind of off to the side, you hear Martha gasp as the reality of the situation kind of sinks in as that she now believes that her daughter is a much more dangerous than she initially thought she was going to be in. We need one more success. Any one of you can try and do it. Just tell me what it is you want to try and do in order to push the ritual over the finish line.
Could I pull whatever Aether is, in Jeremiah out, seeing if that's anything that's affecting him?
Probe him for Aether. So Aether's not really the problem right now.
Okay.
It is clearly separate force than the corruption. You're actually kind of using the Aether to funnel the corruption out of him.
Could I, as dangerous as this is, could I absorb said corruption, taking it on me so that it's not in him?
Yeah, you can directly try and bolster him. Give me a will check.
It's gonna be an 8.
All right. So success with consequences.
So that's an 8 with doubles. So that's gonna be a gain an Aether, right?
Yes, you're going. So you gain another. And as you're, channeling and funneling the strands of corruption from Jeremiah, everything seems to be going well. And then you get to the point where Snaggle is winding the strands, the 13 strands. And it looks a little frantic and chaotic as he's doing it. Almost like maybe he's not completely paying attention to what he's doing. Like his movements are fast and precise of the hand and the eye, but it seems to be like his mind is a little bit wandering. So in order to make it easier for him, you kind of pull some of the corruption away from it. So I'm going to say success with consequences. Give me no, you're just going to take 2 corruption.
Okay.
as you absorb it. And that you guys were at 5.5. That takes you to 6. That pushes it over. Which, when that happens, the room is suddenly violently still. The freezing wind that has been howling through the flat vanishes, replaced by a heavy, suffocating heat that smells of ozone and iron. Pips let out a final shimmering note that seemed to hang in the air like glass before she slumped against Rook's legs, exhausted but breathing. Seraphine and Lucian, your hands are trembling. The etheric static finally fading from your fingertips while Snaggle holds the relic, now heavy, warm and pulsing with deep violet thrum. Jeremiah's thrashing stops for a heartbeat. He lies perfectly still, his skin returning to a natural, ruddy dwarf hue. Then his eyes bulge open. He lunges forward, clutching the edge of the table and letting out a wretched wet convulsion. With a sound like a heavy gravel hitting a tin plate, he vomits a mishap and jagged slug of metal onto the floorboards. It isn't lead, it isn't steel. It's a strangely alloyed, porous metal that seems to shiver in the light. As it sits there, it begins to weep, a thick, black, oily substance that sizzles against the wood, staining the floor with the mark of the preacher. Lonnie stares at the slug, his face pale. There it is, he whispers, wiping his ink-stained hands on his apron. The anchor. The man is clean, Commandos, but that thing is a piece of the 13th pylon, and it's still crying for its master. Jeremiah collapses back onto the pillows, his chest heaving. He looks at you all, eyes clear for the first time since the steam vent. Thank you, your ass. I could hear him the whole time. He's at the cathedral. He's waiting for the moon to hit the high altar. So, couple things. One, this took you a couple hours, right? You guys had to work at it for a while. I imagine Lucian, Seraphine, and Hope, as well as Snaggle, you guys are probably, covered in sweat at this point from the mental exhaustion and physical exhaustion of trying to pull this darkness from Jeremiah. The blade has taken on a completely different look. It no longer reflects the light in the room. It has become a void in reality, a silhouette that bleaches away color from anything within inches of it. Touching it, feels like gripping the handle of a door that opens into a vacuum. And that is kind of what you feel in your hand right now, Snaggle. Because, as you grip the hilt, you watch, because you're winding as the color drained from the blade in your hand, turning your skin the color of a faded photograph. Upon one side of the blade, just above the hilt, appears a maul engraved, and it seems to pulse. Spinning the dagger over, there's a 13-star constellation that appears on the reverse side that flares with cold violet light before settling into a dull, hungry throb. Those marks weren't on that before. The strands have sunken into the blade itself, creating this thing that looks like a void, a piece of space solidified. Lonnie stumbles back, his eyes fixed on the weapon. You've done it. You've given the void a tooth. It's not just a dagger anymore, Snaggle. It's a promise. Something is looking for a meal, and you're the one holding the fork. Jeremiah lies on the table, pale, shivering, but the gray is gone. He is free of the anchor, but the room feels smaller, as if the fang is drinking the very air you breathe. Mostly contained, you have a weapon, but remember, a blade this hungry doesn't care whose blood it drinks. Hope, as you're observing the room, your sensor's red line or senses red line at their signature coming off that dagger. It isn't a reading to you, it's a fucking scream in your brain.
So we're hearing a scream within our heads.
No, just you. You're kind of experiencing. You basically the senses that you use when you perform your craft. When you look at objects or infuse objects,
Your spidey sense is tingling.
yeah.
Something about this.
Snaggle is holding the dagger almost ritualistically, like in front of him, and like his nose is kind of doing that droopy Muppet thing, and he's just kind of like quivering, and he sort of like takes it into the middle of the room and then like looks at all of you guys to like makes eye contact with each of you individually to kind of see what he should do with it. He clearly does not know what to do with what he's holding.
And so I would Lucian would put out his hand. Can I examine it, Snorkel?
And he will hold it out to you.
So
I
when
think
you
we
do
should
that,
Careful of when we touch it and touching it in general.
So is the handle made of anything different than the blade?
well, I mean, it was a dagger. The handle, the hilt was wrapped in leather. It was pretty plain.
I'll try not to touch any of the metal as I examine it.
But the whole thing looks like all the color has basically been drained of it, and it is just like a black void given shape. And except for the little bit of color coming off of it, where there's that maul and the constellation is now kind of emblazoned upon the blade. When you touch it, it feels hungry.
No thinks this will just take snacks.
Can I use like a intelligence check to see?
I was gonna see if I could do sight beyond sight.
Okay.
Analyze an object.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm throwing dice all over the place. I wish I could use that number. No. All right, so that's going to be an 11. And just because it makes sense touching this object, I got corruption showing.
Nice. Well, we know what that means. So you gain corruption.
Yep.
And all right. So as you're holding it, you feel the blade's thirst and hunger, right?
Mhm.
But also you feel something else, almost like a comforting sensation that it's more than willing to share with you, right? So, and also in your hand, the blade feels really good. Like you know how to use this weapon. You're not trained to fight with weapons. You rarely have used them. You usually rely on your ethermancy, but
Right.
well, for whatever reason, this blade, you know how to use it. When you so with that 11, with that, is that 3 true answers?
Yes. Yep.
What would you like to know?
So what dangers exist from using this item?
So the more you feed the blade, the harder it will be for you to get rid of it. And not in the sense of using it on foes, but you feel that you can draw on the blade's power, and you know the more that you do draw on the blade's power, the harder it will be to get rid of it.
So what power does it then hold?
It will, well, so it can it kind of like, the dagger opens up to you, right? Kind in a sense. And it doesn't, it's not that it can talk, but almost like it sends you feelings, and you sense almost like emotions coming off of it. It's
Okay.
a cool, slick warmth that kind of fills you. Very tempting. And it kind of lets you know what it can do.
So does it seem like it is more a physical object, or is there any aspect of like Aether conduit?
Okay. So no other conduit. It is a physical as well as a metaphysical item, right? In the sense that it is connected to this other place. And you know intuitively it is going to hit harder than it should. So it acts as a tier 2 weapon, but you can still use precision because it's still considered a light weapon. You do not have to be trained to use it. You know, if you throw it, it will return to you. And it has a couple moves you can tap into if you wish.
Excellent.
You can perform the Osmogoth's bite. Well, anybody who's wielding it can perform the Osmogoth's bite. When you strike with Osmogoth's fang, you can burn corruption and the blade gains penetrating 5. It is also insatiable. If you spend corruption, you can recover a wound when you use it to attack a living or creature of Aether.
So spend means you get rid of, burn means you actually acquire. Correct?
But well, normal circumstances, burn is always you're spending it, kind of, right? The difference is when you burn Aether or corruption, unless there's special circumstances, like an Ethermantic weapon, which this is not, it's corrupted, then you continue to gain. And then the biggest thing that you kind of understand is this entity, Osmogoth, it is connected to.
So I will I'll do some fancy, like, twiddle or flip the dagger around, as demonstrating the fact that I, who am not physical, somehow, am manipulating this object, essentially gaining proficiency in using it, just through demonstration. This item is quite potent, but quite dangerous.
Hot damn.
The long and the short of it, what is the makeup of this room? We have like a stone chamber.
Stone chamber, wooden floor, metal table. It's a very just a couple chairs, unless you guys brought more in. The table has been written on.
I'll gesture towards the the chair at the other side of the room. And this is probably going to be horrible and miss. No, I did. So I just give the dagger a casual flip at the chair. Winds up being an 8.
Okay.
With
It is.
doubles. So yay, Aether.
It's a wooden chair. Thunk sinks into it easily, right? Sticks into it, and then it evaporates into shadow and then reappears in your hand.
So that's the fanciest thing, that it easily does. But if you are willing to give of yourself to the entity on the other side of this, you have the ability to allow the dagger to hit harder. So if you're not too concerned with your soul, your well-being, then it is potent.
So we're not going to keep it, are we? We're getting rid of it, yes?
Well, I imagine we could talk to the captain and see if there are areas of containment. I mean, we deal with quite a lot of things.
Well, what about that on the floor? And I'll point to the anchor.
Well, the floor was where the circle was.
Well, yeah, but the thing that dropped out of him.
Yeah,
metal.
He threw up one of those
Spikes?
balls, the shots.
Oh. So somehow I missed that one. So I guess we should examine that as well.
I mean, you've seen it before. It's the same thing you guys reclaimed from Higgins.
Okay, same.
It was the anchor.
Okay. Well then, yeah, we should probably put that with the other one and keep it all contained.
So after Jeremiah kind of puked that thing out and he was straining against the restraints and then kind of fell back and let out a sigh, and then the color started returning and his eyes were kind of closed, and then all of a sudden his eyes snapped back open. And they don't settle on the stone walls of the precinct. They stare through you, fixed on the horizon that isn't there. He tries to sit up, his fingernails scraping against the table like a trapped animal. His voice comes out as a dry, rhythmic rasp. I was there. I was here. I could feel the cold iron of the chair and smell of the grease trap steam, but I was there too, at the same time, stretched out like a hide on a drying rack. He shudders, a violent, full-body tremor. The whole table shakes, nearly toppling it over. It looked like Xanterra, but it was wrong. It was sick, a reflection in a cracked, oily mirror. The sky wasn't blue, it was the color of a fresh bruise, and the clouds didn't move. They breathed. The great pylons, they weren't holding the city up. They were piercing the earth like black needles, draining the life out of the soil until the world below was nothing but dust, weeping fungus. His tears are streaming down his eyes. As he's talking, he reaches out, grabs Rook's arm. His grip is unnaturally strong. Pip kind of squeaks and it makes a kind of a whirling sound of a piece of machinery and jumps back, startled. Time doesn't work there. I watched the sun go dark and stay dark for what felt like 100 winters. I lived a lifetime in the gray dust. And in the center of it all, where the cathedral should be, there was no stone, only a hole. A mouth that went on forever. That's where he is. Osmogoth, the unsatiable maw. He doesn't just want to eat us, Commandos. He's thirsty. He's been drinking Xanterra dry for eons, and now he's found a straw leading straight here, straight to Haven. He collapses back. His breath is hitching in a sob. The Cathedral of the Void. It's not a church, it's a pump, and the preacher is about to turn the handle. And he kind of settles back, shaking.
Am I familiar with this name? Have I heard this before?
Which name?
Osmogoth?
It was just the impression when the item told you its name.
All right, but I've never,
Osmogoth
like, in any
Spang?
of my studies.
No.
Okay.
Can I use my precognition to try to figure out what Asmogoth is?
Oh, yes, you can.
What about your postcognition? Can you use that?
What is that supposed to mean?
It's Ted being Ted.
Okay. Is it will? Most of my things are will. Please be will. We need will. La 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 la.
It's will, even if it doesn't say it. There's some
Okay.
typos.
All right, so it's an 8. So I get one true answer.
Okay.
I want to know what Asmogoth is.
Are you trying to use a precognition and read through the dagger?
Yes. Pertaining
Okay.
to Asmogoth in particular.
Excellent. Let's start with give me a will check.
I rolled an 11 without my bonus.
Okay. So, all right. So you're going to gain a +1 forward for the next thing you do. But as you reach through the dagger to find out what Asmogoth is and kind of read into the future, you get very limited information, but what you do understand is Osmogoth is an otherworldly entity of immense power, possibly godlike proportions, that is striving to regain entry into this world, into Xanterra. And you also know he's not the only one trying to do it. There's other beings equally powerful.
Okay. I'll relay that with the idea of maybe we should find one of these other powerful gods and just have them fight it out themselves. Because this is way above our fucking pay grade.
Maybe above pay grade, but also is kind of our fault. We made key for door.
And he just points at the dagger.
Lonnie speaks up. Well, from everything you've told me, this preacher fella has already been making his own keys. But it looks like you may have made a master key.
So, I definitely think that this. I don't know if we have the ability to completely close this off. If we were to just stash this away somewhere, what's the chance that it's going to have the influence to just find a way to make it into someone else's hands?
That is a very real problem, and also there's more. As he looks at the squad, and then at the black slimy shot on the floor. If Jeremiah was in both places at once, it means the mirror is almost aligned. When the reflection matches the reality perfectly, this cathedral of the void won't be in the other place anymore. It'll be here, and we'll be there.
Do you think there were 13 that they took to put the anchors in? Because we found 2. Like, do they need a specific amount?
When you say found, what do you mean?
Well, we found the alley cat, and I'm asking the scholar this. We found the alley cat, and then we found
Mhm.
Jeremiah.
Okay, yeah, that's
So-
that's what I was trying to figure out. Okay, that is a strong possibility. They've been using the number 13 for everything at this point. We kind of figured that the first one, the fellow you call Higgins, was kind of like a prototype or test. Seems like it was successful, and they were going to try and repeat it with Jeremiah. And it seems like they were on their way before you guys interrupted it. But there's kind of more to that. And he grabs one of the another one of the napkins. He says he seems to have an unlimited supply of napkins that he loves to write on instead of actually using paper. And he draws a jagged circle with a piece of charcoal, then stabs 12 points around the perimeter with one in the center. And his voice drops to a dry, rattly whisper, the kind used for secrets that can get a man hanged or worse. He points to the charcoal map, his fingers trembling as he hovers over the center. You think Haven stays in the sky because of a boiler pressure and buoyancy? You think the Academy of Logic has it all figured out with their slide rules and steam gauges? They're measuring the skin of a drum and ignoring the hollow underneath. He taps the 12 outer marks on his map, the 12 pylons we can see. The ones the watch patrols and the great houses tax, those are just the perimeter. They aren't holding the city up. They're holding the seal down. There are 12 nails and a world-sized coffin lid hammered into the bedrock of Zantara eons ago to keep the eldritch horrors pinned to the mud. That's what I'm surmising, theorizing anyway. He slams his fist onto the center of the table, right where he drew the 13 marks. But there's a master seal, the 13th pylon. It's hidden beneath the Cathedral of the Void. It's got to be linked. It can only be the only thing. It's the primary anchor, the one that ties our reality to the bedrock and keeps the mirror from overlapping. It's the only thing keeping this unsatiable maw, Asmogoth, from swallowing us whole. Or some of those others? Oh my god, I don't even know how many others there are. This has all been theory up until this point. He leans so close you can smell the ink and the sharp tang of fear on his breath. The preacher isn't trying to crash the city, he's trying to pull the nail. If he corrupts the 13th pylon, the seal of the 13 cities breaks. Haven won't just fall, it'll be pulled through the sky and into the mouth of the void. We won't be citizens of the sky anymore. We'll be the first course in a feast that never ends. And I wonder if there's 13 of them. You said there's more than this one. 13 seems to be tied to an awful lot.
So Dave, what is the general view of scholars and academics? Like, I know as players of the game that we know that there is a barrier keeping out the eldritch horrors, but what does do the learned know that? Is that a speculation? Or
There is a small number of people that are aware of this. And you might be lucky if there's like one person per city that knows this. That's how few.
Okay, all right. So that's perfect.
And so to you, it
So-
kind of sounds like he's rambling. Like part of you is like,
he's-
oh, this shit is going on, but also like, oh, that's why he's a discredited scholar.
Right. You realize you sound mad, right?
Well,
Potentially 13 great horrors that are just outside of reach. That doesn't sound very logical.
well, I'm totally guessing on 13 because the number 13 keeps showing up again. But, you know, could be a multiple of 13. I'm not really sure. This has all been theory up until this point. You say I sound mad, but
Your
compared to the
theory,
things you've already
or
witnessed,
your theory, or someone else?
I have stumbled upon the works of some other scholars, explorers, academics. There's
So I give this guy a look. Do we have an insight kind of thing in this game here?
it would be awareness or charm.
I ain't all that charming. So awareness and charm are the same, so that's a +1. So all right, so that's an 8. I'm just trying to get a read, see whether whether what he's saying is.
He believes
Maybe not
everything he's
believe-
saying. But when you ask, like, are there other people that are saying this or do you get this information from someplace? It's precisely at that juncture that you feel like he is holding something back. And possibly a little bit of a mistrust towards you, which he hasn't really exhibited any of that up until this point.
So the scholar in me pushes forward. Like I don't think Lucian is happy that this guy helped save Jeremiah's life. But I don't think this guy has done enough that I care what he thinks about me. If I push too hard. So I'll kind of like, just to kind of like furrow my brow a little bit. What else aren't you saying?
He visibly and physically takes a defensive posture. You're one of them. I'm just not sure which path you're going to take.
One of what?
You're a heliotrope. Or is it Thorpe? What is it?
Heliotrope. You got it right.
Okay. I don't have it right in front of me. That's why.
Sure.
You're a heliotrope on a dangerous quest, and I'm not talking about what's going on here in the city right now.
What are you implying?
Now, I don't think the sons should bear the burdens or the persecutions of the father, or in this case, cousins of the cousins. But
You mentioned Lucy. Dr.
yes,
Lucy.
Dr.
What
Lucia
do you
Heliothorpe.
What do you know of her?
When I was studying spatial anomalies and theories, I stumbled upon some of her works. And if you think I sound mad, then you haven't seen nothing yet.
So when he mentions Dr. Lucy, like my whole demeanor changes. Like I have been questing to try and find, where my cousin went. So like now it's like I've got that like almost full rapt attention, hungry look of like, all right, my my stuff is turned up, all goose eggs. What do you got? So he might read that wrong, considering he's already guarded towards me. She went missing quite some time ago, and the family has no idea. I've left my life at the academy to try and locate her, but all evidence I was able to find turned up nothing. What have you found?
I can tell you the first of her companions to turn up dead was Krezek, the psychic soldier, kobold. By all counts, he was very powerful. His mind and his body were unparalleled weapons. Then there was the one I'm not surprised about, but also from all of the recounting I could tell, they somehow became friends. The zealot. He was one of the knights of the anti-Aether, I believe. He wielded a powerful artifact against Aether. Could reflect it, stop it. It's kind of the bane of Aethermancers and creatures powered by the Aether everywhere. But I believe
is just hanging on every little word.
I believe he is no more, and that blade is not in his possession any longer.
Are you saying that my cousin took it?
I'm not sure, but they all traveled together. They were working together on something secret. I even hear
Last I heard they were coming here. No one I've spoken to knows where they went.
They did come here, but that was before the city was freed, before the veil was broken here and the curtain fell. Matter of fact, that is where her mentor died, fleeing the city of Haven. He poured everything he had into one final Aethermantic empowerment channeling that gave them the ability to escape, but it cost him his life. He burned out, mind and body. Then there was another kobold that traveled with them as well. And I've heard rumors and sightings that he's still around. That he's been up to things. Not sure. It wasn't good.
Now, was I aware of the companions, or had I heard like mixed
That's up
stories?
to you. I mean, if you can, as much as you want to know or don't want to know, but as you've stated so far, though, you were aware of everything up to them heading to Haven, so you might know of the ones she was working with.
I think given the number of years that it's been, or decades at this point in time, I think it would be interesting if like there were conflicting stories, like things that
Yeah.
are not accurate. So like, I've heard, tale of, that there was one kobold or there were three kobolds or whatever have you.
Yeah.
Um, and he's been trying to piece together, the what the accurate facts are. So I would imagine that as this dude is kind of putting something out, as he's kind of, saying all of this, I imagine like he pulls out a notebook that, is like from further, deeper in his bag that none of the others have seen him pull out. And like he's, taking down shorthand of whatever this guy is saying. And he's listening with rapt attention to get it all. And of course, I'll have to get fact checked and whatever have you, but it's another source of information that he did not have before.
As he's like telling the story and talking, he seems to be settling a little bit, almost like he's like settling into a lecture-like stance where, he's conveying information like an academic. After Haven, my understanding was there was a secret mission. They went to the surface. And after that,
there's a moment that he looks up at him like, "Are you mad?" but doesn't say a word. Almost like, he's stepping into the role of the professor, the one delivering a lecture, and Lucian is like falling back on his academic studies and like has pulled over, one of the loose chairs in the room and is just taking notes like he's the student.
That's when everything went wrong. It was after that her former companions started turning up dead. All but the other Pfizer kobold. But I had conflicting stories on that one. Some describe him as being this meek, subservient, pitiful creature. Looks apologetically at Snaggle when he says it. Others,
there are some rumors about, that the kobold was rabbit-like. I don't know what that's supposed to be.
I'm not so sure about that either. But I mean, these other sightings that talked about him, he was anything but timid or subservient. He was downright terrifying, is what I heard. Committed crimes, stole a ship. Then there was one other. Grizzled old dwarf. It's as tough as they come. She was the only one that I think survived. I tried to find her and track her down. Seemed like she just vanished for a long time. Like someone that didn't want to be found and knew how to not be found. I know. She loved her other ball. She was a tough old bastard. She claimed she'd been to the surface before. Lost an arm there. But didn't seem to stop her. She might know more.
Only we could find this person. Be able
I
to,
don't know.
gather information directly from the source. Do you know this dwarf's name?
Roz. But as far as I know, she doesn't even exist anymore. Couldn't find her. Where the others, it was kind of easy. It wasn't not easy, but I could find out what happened to them. Where with her, it seemed like she just vanished.
So, what did you do to be able to track all of this information down? I spent years.
I'm a really good scholar. I'm really good at researching things. I don't have the
I will
ability that you do with ethermancy. I can see it a little bit. I can feel it. Like when I knew you had the objects, but I can't wield it the way others do, and I'm just not built for it, so I don't try. I focus on other things.
Well, based on what you've said, I will take your and I smile as I say wild theories with more credence. Perhaps they are accurate, and the wider world would be wise to listen to this, at least to consider it.
I don't think the wider world's ready for this.
Well, I meant the wider academic world. If there is indeed a threat, perhaps we should be prepared for it. And I kind of gesture at the room, to the knife that Seraphine has, to the ritual carved on the drawn on the floor in this room. I mean, the evidence here shows that there is something. And there are always unknown things that happen within the cities.
Seraphine, when she reached out to the blade, she didn't do so physically, just with her psychic senses, right?
Oh yeah, I ain't touching it. I'll pick it up with my head, but not physically touch it.
Yeah. So, yeah, and Lucian, when that thirst for information about your cousin kind of springs forth in you, you get the sense, this feeling from the blade, like it wants to help you.
So, if Seraphine didn't actually take the blade, she just approached it psychically, then I guess it would still be on Lucian's presence. As this kind of concept comes to him, like, oh, it wants to help me, I think, like, in midst of the conversation, whatever have you, he would just go ahead and like stash it in his bag, and it's not like it's like, I don't do the shifty look, or let me try and see if I can do this covertly, but it also doesn't do anything to like specifically draw anyone's attention to it. It's not like, oh, I'm gonna keep this. It's just matter of factly.
I have a question, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Do our characters, know anything about our other campaign at all? Because we had spread rumors, if you remember, and there were rumors about the ship and everything. I'm wondering if, with my background, I would know anything about any of that.
So, there's a very good possibility that you would know about the weird things that were going on with the Skywells, right? And like they were attacking ships, and you specifically, because you have more interaction with the other cities, you may have heard of the incident where one of the Skywells was sick or something and just started vomiting parasitic or disease infested creatures down on the city below. Like, the tale's been spun a lot to like it was a weather balloon.
Okay. So like, as a player, I'm wondering if I would be able to justify making the connection that like that ship was tied very heavily with themes of like death and rebirth and things like that, and if that would give us any kind of lead or additional information related to this cult leader that's also able to just like regenerate and apparently come back from the dead and bring back the dead and things like that.
So, I mean, just to clarify, when he was stabbed with the corrupted daggers, instead of hurting him, they did seem to heal him. But he did raise 2 of them from the dead after he killed them. But he was like, you were able to hurt him.
Okay.
But he was super strong, super tough.
Okay.
And I don't know, anyone that was there can make an intellect check.
What's that?
Okay.
That
Don't
one's
fail me
two.
now. Oh dear.
Okay.
Well, I did get doubles. Nothing showing, thankfully, because one of them is red. So intellect, that's +1. So that is 11. I have double 6s, but neither one is showing because it's the other 6.
Right. So you just gain talent. So you gain a talent because it's just a success.
Okay.
And you know, from your interaction, what you're surmising is that anything corrupted attacks against him are going to empower him.
Okay.
He is clearly a creature of, maybe not of, but at least somehow linked to this other place where the corruption comes from.
Okay.
So it is an ally to him. So using it against him may not be the best
Okay.
course.
Do I believe that healing then works in reverse on him? Like, is that the kind of situation we're dealing with, or?
No, you believe that he can absorb corrupted energies
Okay.
and become empowered by them.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's more like an element, not like everything's reversed for him.
Yes, yeah.
Got you. Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. Otherwise, though, I am pointedly trying to hide what I know related to this conversation. Aside from, like, the stuff that I don't know if I know, but, like, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
And based on your last interaction too with Lonnie, Seraphine, you also realize that he's really good at researching things, better than some might want.
Oh yeah, I'm just avoiding that altogether.
I wonder why.
Well, you did see him hand her something.
Yeah, I did. So,
Oh.
Problem is, corruption heals bad cult man. Needs opposite of corruption? Maybe hugs.
Would be purity. It would need something that is pure, genuine, holy, if you would. I do not believe hugs are going to injure such a thing.
Maybe if he gives them.
Right. Concentrate a source of good Aether.
Is
Gaggle
Aether
just needs
ever
to give him
cold?
those face hugs like before with the claws.
Oh, that's not sane. That because small child in danger.
Gaggle
So-
did a good
And then
thing that day.
Snaggle
Are-
kind of like looks ashamed a little bit, realizing that Hope has no idea what is being said.
So, through all of this, what is going on with Pip, her mother, and Jeremiah? Like, have they left the room? Like, we've done all we can for them, or they've done all they can for us.
So
Or are they
Jeremiah,
like,
Jeremiah is like kind of like just on the table, but he's actually no one's unstrapped him yet, I believe.
I would
But
imagine
also
they would have by now.
he also seems kind of exhausted, and is kind of like regain trying to seems to be trying to rest and regain some of his strength. Because even though he's only been gone for a half a day to a day tops, right? What he described like he went through years of some kind of trial.
Life. Right. So I imagine at some point in time, Lucian's going to want to sit down with him and extract, that, as much detail, as he's willing to give about Osmogoth and, his experience, without trying to like trigger him, but he wants the information.
So there is something, Hope, that you observed during the ritual with the little girl. She's got a doll made of something strange. And as she was chanting, it was like faintly glowing a little bit. But that it wasn't just reacting to the chant, but in some ways it was acting to dampen Aether or whatever this other energy is that they keep talking about and that you kind of witnessed, which isn't really something you've dealt with before, unless you say you have. But even still, it would still be pretty rare. Hope.
I'm sorry. What was being said?
So, as the ritual was going on, one, you kind of jumped in as they're getting started and just helped where you could, because basically the chief's like, well, there's a witness in there for you to talk to if you guys can make him make his mind come back, essentially. And so you did that. But in that process, this little girl is holding this doll that was kind of glowing as she was chanting. And, even though you're not really sure exactly what her role was, it was clear to you that the chanting that she was doing and the sounds that she was creating were a specific frequency that the doll seemed to be reacting to, and almost like the doll was protecting her from these energies.
Yeah, could I roll to see if I was, I guess, knowledgeable of that type of stuff?
Well, so the alley cats are a part of the Screaming Night Commandos. The Screaming Night Commandos are the special unit that deals with the creepy and the weird. So you can tell me how creepy and how weird things have gotten on previous cases. I mean, this one was probably the worst thing that they ever dealt with, considering it wiped out your unit. And you actually don't even know what happened to the rest of them.
Yeah.
You just happened to be on leave and out of the city when they were assigned this particular case.
Yeah, so I'll definitely explain that it's something that is not to be underestimated by any means. My squad was filled with some of the most vicious people that can definitely hold their own, but by the time we got there, the only thing left was to bag and tag everybody.
Yeah, so the only body that was recovered was was Sergeant Higgins, and these are the folks that actually brought him back, or what was left of him. You literally came off of leave, and like someone was waiting for you at the port. Like you're somewhere in the precinct is your suitcase from traveling.
Oh, so we're fresh. Got it.
Yeah, you might even be in your street clothes.
Absolutely.
Like you got a Hawaiian shirt on.
Nice. So, I guess
These guys might actually be able to fill in some of the gaps for you.
yeah. So, guys, what's going on here?
How about we get the family home and then we can kind of rest and discuss everything? And maybe get him unstrapped and all that, yeah?
I imagine by now someone would have already, unstrapped Jeremiah, calling out to see whether we can get him, food and drink. No idea how long it's been since he's, gone without sustenance.
And also,
I absolutely agree that we should take care of the family.
I would like to advise them not to talk about what they've seen just because it's not normal and people might react to it poorly.
are we in danger?
I wouldn't think so, but it's well, like our fellow academic here, he pretty much had to do a job change because of his viewpoints and studies. So we would not want any ill to come of you.
She looks down at Pips, specifically the dolls that she's holding, and kind of frowns thoughtfully.
That might be dangerous, the doll.
Well, as Lonnie speaks up, ma'am, I don't know how to tell you this, but also your daughter's ability to mimic the chant, not just the words and the sounds, but the frequencies. And it may go both ways.
What do you mean it would go both ways?
Well, she's able to send out the frequencies, but if certain individuals or beings are able to hear the frequencies, they may be able to trace them back to the source. It's a bit of a gift and curse, I would say, especially for one so young that doesn't really probably know what she's actually doing there.
So do we need to get them a protection detail? Is that what we're saying?
I don't really know, because I have no idea ultimately what these shadowy figures are trying to do. Obviously, it's nothing good. And how did she come by that doll? And looking at Martha, the mother, I don't know. She just had it one day. We were coming back from one of our runs from the works. Pretty good haul, scraps. I was pretty excited and maybe a little bit distracted, and it was just there. I mean, it was one of the days when those people were in the dead ends and they were kind of like giving out the medicine and the food. I really didn't think much of it. I mean, the dead enders need help. We try and bring them some stuff when we can and help out, but we're just happy to hear there's others helping as well. But now, I'm not so sure.
So
We didn't really encounter them directly, I don't think, but I don't know where the dog came from.
Dave, one of my melee weapons is a doll named Theopold. He is a kobold doll filled with ball bearings. He's functionally a dangerous beanie baby.
A sack.
So, may I please pull out Theopold, and Snaggle will kind of do this toddling over to her, and he will say,
His name's Theopold. Have had since very small. 7 years ago was baby. Now, if we'll trade, Theopold can be loved by Pip instead.
So, Hope, do you mention your observation that like it seemed like the doll was doing something? I want to say like almost like a protective measure for the girl, like almost almost like a resistors in a circuit.
Absolutely. After hearing the news of that, I definitely it was cleanup detail on aisle 7, man. Like, so I definitely relay everything I know.
oh, because we only knew it was glowing, like in character. Like, we knew it was glowing, we didn't know why.
Like, wait a minute. It's dangerous.
I mean,
But you said it's protecting her.
I mean, Lonnie speaks up. I might have a theory. It might not be like protecting so much as harnessing.
Oh.
And it's at that moment that Snaggle realizes that Hope was not talking about Theopold being the dangerous thing.
Like, see, maybe someone should go get the kids a snack. Take the kids to get a snack or something. You got somebody around here that can probably do that, right?
snack.
I'll volunteer to do it.
Well, I mean, you
I'll
probably
bring
could
them
call
back.
out. You can probably call out into the precinct and just make someone do it, because you guys kind of have some pull and rank.
Snaggles is like, snacks, you say?
Yes.
Oh, man. Oh. Yeah, that's funny.
Snaggle would
Correct.
like to take the children to teach them how to steal snacks.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
So right away, the one, the teen is actually pretty adept already at stealth, and
Very nice.
but he kind of gets the jibe of what you're doing, and he gives you like a conspiratorial whisper. He's like, "They call me Cricket."
They call me Snaggle.
It's cause I don't make any noise until I do, and then you can't tell where I'm at, like a cricket.
Oh. Is cuz was first word I said.
But Pips used to just call me annoying when she talked before.
She talked before?
Yeah. She hasn't talked in over a year though.
When got
Just-
doll?
The doll's a little bit newer. But I don't know. It might have been the first time we saw that weird fungus stuff down in the works. We stayed away from it, of course. But you think it has something to do with that?
are in tune with. Whoa. You know,
I don't know. I mean,
like Lucy.
she doesn't
big
say
Lucy.
anything. She just likes to imitate the noises from down in the works from the machines. Now, sometimes you can tell what she means by the type of noise she makes. But the weird chanting thing, that's very new. I don't really like that.
No. Probably not good thing.
And somewhere along the way, you acquired Raw.
That's okay. He also needs a lesson in stealing snacks.
He also kind of knows how to steal too.
Perfect. We are going to rob the precinct blind of all of the snacks.
Oh my god.
I would let Snaggle go ahead and went back into the room.
Yeah.
Who walks in? Where's my yogurt?
Yeah.
So by now, I think we've got Jeremiah, unbound and checked. If nobody else has anything going on at the moment, I would probably be like, all right, can we go through that story one more time? And I would be jotting down, the bullet points of his experience in essentially living this alternate life. Again, trying not to cause any trauma, but trying to get the meat and potatoes of the story.
Yeah, so when he recounts it, like, you can just tell this stuff is like imprinted on him at this point. Only the way trauma can imprint on a person, right? So it's like part of him wants to talk about it and part of him doesn't. But so you're able to do that easily. And then once like the kids leave and Martha's there, Lonnie's like, I don't know if how the chanting and the doll are connected, but somehow there's a synergy there.
Well, the doll has some of the fungus.
No, I understand that part. But I feel like if she were to duplicate those frequencies, she might harm someone else or herself inadvertently. I was
assuming that. Oh, sorry.
And I think, according to your friend here, the doll might be keeping that from happening. But also, nothing that has happened at this point seems like it's been an accident. So the girl might have some abilities.
I was assuming that it was a scenario of, she was repeating things she heard. So if she hears the machines, she repeats the machines. I assumed, and we were trying to help Jeremiah first, but I was assuming that she learned the chant listening to her brother. You think that?
So Martha's like, where would he have heard that? I'd never heard that before, other than the times that she's done it here and there. I don't think it was from him.
You don't think he's mixed up with any of these folks?
Well, I would hope not. I don't, but ma'am, I don't think you have to worry about that. Lonnie cuts in. Your son would not have been able to teach her that chant like that. That's not something that would have taken years for her to learn. Colleen would not have been able to impart that upon your child so rapidly that it seems almost like, I don't know if she can touch Aether or something else. Doesn't feel like Aether.
You think
Well, I
maybe
could-
she's a natural Aether user and it got corrupted somehow? Like through the bear or something?
I think
I-
she's connected to the other place somehow. Because it's, see, understand, it's not enough just to make the chant and the sounds. It's the frequencies that matter. If she couldn't duplicate the frequencies, it wouldn't work. Only someone that's been doing it and trained in it could replicate that chant with years of practice.
Years of practice that this child wouldn't have.
I can take
So-
a look at her when she gets back and see if I can see anything that's unseen.
I could also examine her as I did the dagger.
Yeah, I don't know
Same
if
thing,
it's a psychic ability or if it's a Latin, she's a Latin ethermancy, but also for one to develop those skills so young and by accident.
It is not unheard of for the young to develop, such talents. At in Felcrest that happens every so often. A gifted elf can get noticed and what have you, but here, it's not always so easy to spot and to do what need be done.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but I mean we're elves and we have a deeper connection to the world than the others. He kind of looks apologetically around the room. It's just the way it is. But so I guess what I'm ultimately saying is I don't think it's safe to leave her with the doll, but I'm also not so sure it's safe to take it away either.
We'll have to check and see.
I have a feeling this doll.
And I kind of look apologetically to the mother. Like, I'm not trying to accuse the boy. It's just I worked with the information that I had.
Well, I understand. I mean, sure, younger siblings picking things up from an older sibling. Yeah, I mean that makes sense. And it's not like you said he meant any harm or anything, or are you saying he was a cultist? Are you calling my son a cultist? Now she might look like she's getting a little perturbed.
I thought that the possibility might be there. I honestly, I don't know your family, and I honestly felt that Jeremiah here was more important to help him than to make any kind of accusation upon, what I suspected about where Pip heard, the chanting from.
Well,
I would like to telepathically throw a pin at Lucian while he's rambling and possibly pissing the mom off.
I'm at this point in time, I'm apologizing for my speculation.
I'm still throwing it.
Sure.
it's fine. What mother doesn't want to hear that their son's a cultist? I mean,
I gotta be part asshole, okay?
No. So she seems very torn between wanting to be mad at you and wanting to find out if her son's a cultist or not. Like, she's realistic and lives a little bit of a non-normal life, a little bit harder life with their profession. So they've seen some stuff and they're not oblivious, right? And they spend a lot of time in the dead ends where, the low of the low end up and, they've seen, it's like this city's version of Skid Row, right? So she's not oblivious. you know, and she's very aware. Could you? And she kind of looks sheepishly to Seraphine. Could you check him for me?
I can take a look at him too.
Will he know?
It depends.
You're getting
Yes,
that vibe,
really.
like the parent that wants to drug test their kid without letting the kid know that they're
Yeah.
being drug tested.
I will try to be as discreet as possible. I'm usually very good at this.
She seems very relieved. Thank you. I really do appreciate this. I just don't understand how we got here and what's even going on. And she just kind of slumps down in the chair, looking a little overwhelmed. And then she looks to Rook. Do you think, I know you're busy with the watch and all, but do you think you could check in on her from time to time? She seems to really like you.
I would like that. I like Pip. She's a sweet girl.
And do you deadpan just like that too?
Little twinkle eye, yeah.
Thank you. I don't know if it's because of the way she likes to make the machine noises and that's why she likes you, but it just seems to work.
Yeah.
I think you make her feel safe.
Yeah.
So you guys kind of go back and forth discussing for a little while. And then finally, I feel like Snaggle comes back with the three kids, and you know, and armloads of things that they've rifled from around the precinct.
Oh yeah. In fact, I imagine we've got like straight up potato sacks, just full, like Santa Claus carrying these things. Like we have emptied the fridge. We found everybody's secret stashes. I imagine that we probably took all of Hope's yogurts. Like there are no more yogurts left.
There's definitely a couple of things, there's like sandwiches and stuff wrapped in parchment with somebody else's name written on it.
I look straight at Snaggle. Is that my yogurt?
Not anymore.
I look at you, the kids, seeing how happy they are. And I just turn away, like, damn it, I ain't got no yogurt.
What is going on with Hope right now? Like, because this has all hit him like hard and fast. Obviously, the chief has a lot of confidence in you, and also kind of implanted you into mostly contained. You're not. Part of you is suspicious that maybe like it's a way for him to have more access to what's going on.
Yeah.
Because the Alley Cats have worked in the precinct for many, many years.
Yeah, I mean, I have a feeling that. I mean, Hope would definitely be feeling that he's being used a little bit more than he would like to be used. Partially reason why he's begrudging here and there. But being reacquainted with everything that's been happening, I do look at the doll that's being held by this child, and Seraphine, right? Or
Yes.
I kind of step over to you. I know you promised to examine this child discreetly, but if you get a moment, could you please examine the doll too? Call it a hunch. Just call it a hunch.
Yeah, I can take a look.
Yeah, just something about it. Don't smell right.
Now, I'm not like a artificer, Aether user, just so we're aware.
just have a feeling.
So, how does Seraphine examine the kids?
I am actually like, I will go and talk to the little girl while she's eating and just be like super nice. Well, like, I'm not too worried about her knowing. I'm just kind of more making sure she's okay.
I had to mix the fruit in the bottom with the yogurt. You can't just
and
eat it. What are you doing, kid? There's good yogurt there.
So,
and like seeing if there's a link between her and the bear psychologically, or if there's like anything that she's seen that would make sense as to why she's chanting.
yeah. So, first and foremost, she actually seems very content and chatty, even though she doesn't talk per se. She's just making all these noises, steam whistles, and gears grinding together, and just seems like super happy, almost like she's kind of like bebopping to it. What abilities do you have?
I have
All right, so while
First
she's
and
doing this,
foremost.
as she's doing this, I'd like to do sight beyond sight on her and the doll.
Okay. And I'm sorry, Jezi, what were you saying?
Okay, sorry, I was waiting for him. First and foremost, she has otherworldly beauty. So anytime I try to manipulate somebody, it's a +1.
Okay.
Yeah. Ancestral wealth. Let's see what else. Empath, telekinesis, precog, dominate mind, psychic surgery.
Okay. So go with
dominate.
yeah, you will tell me. Talk.
Casually.
Yeah. Between your precog and being an empath, give me a will check.
I do have a
kind of-
+1 forward too.
Yes.
9 plus 2, 11.
Okay.
That's with all the bonuses.
Yes. And empath lets you use.
Oh wait, no, it's a 6 and a 5, so 11 plus 3. It's better.
Okay.
I was
better.
reading the red. It's fine. And I got
So-
a yellow. So let's do that. Okay.
So you're able to kind of, as you're just talking to her and like you kind of ease into her mind, her emotions, and kind of like you're kind of feeling your way around, trying to be gentle, light touch. And I imagine maybe, use some a little bit of like psychology to kind of guide her mind.
I'm a straight up con artist.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So you were kind of like maybe talking about the doll. Oh, she's so pretty, things like that.
Mhm,
All right,
mhm.
to kind of like get the psychic emanations flowing in the right direction. Well, one of the things you realize, and it's probably in hindsight, it is not that unbelievable, but the doll is kind of giving off the same kind of vibes and emanations that the dagger was. But being the fact that like it's very reactive to the chant kind of makes sense that there's a connection there somehow. And then
So
you
it's
kind of
harder
like,
to lose the more she uses it, and she's used it a lot.
yeah. And then you actually get to peer into her mind a little bit as she's thinking about the doll and how she got it. A shadowy figure. You kind of see like his eyes kind of twinkle with a bit of an eerie green color to it, and you kind of see like his smile appear in the shadows, Cheshire Cat style, right? As the figure that you guys have come to know as the preacher, steps into view, kneeling down by the little girl, and exchanging some pleasantries. She laughs and giggles about something, and he, does some prestidigitation, a little bit just like street sleight of hand, and makes a doll appear and disappear, and which gets a reaction from the girl. She's still not talking, she's still making the noises, but she's giggling a little bit, and he leans in and hands her the doll and says, "Do you want to know a secret, Pips?" And she, and enthusiastically nods. "I'm going to teach you a secret song." And he does the chant to her one time. And then when he goes to do the second verse, she's chanting along already, happy as can be. And the doll is glowing brighter than you've seen it glow before. She kind of hugs it and chants away. So the preacher gave her the doll and taught her the chant.
Oh yeah. Sarah Faye is thinking she is going to kill that motherfucker.
All right, Ted, sight beyond sight.
So I have an 8 on her and a 10 on the doll. So that's 1 question on her and 2 questions on the doll.
All right.
So
you know what?
Pertaining...
It is 10:27. We got 3 minutes left. Let's wrap it up here.
Sure.
And we'll start with your questions on the next session. So you got 2 on the doll, one on the girl. Thanks guys for playing. Thanks everyone for watching and hanging out. Again, me and Ted will be in Vineland, New Jersey, the middle end of May, running games at Concoction. Same folks that do Page, they're playing Page 4. It's been a great show, so I imagine this is going to be a great show too. I'm running 4 games. Ted's running...
right now it's 2. There might be more.
2 with potential of more. So track him down, tie him to a chair someplace until he runs games for you. If you can't get one of his games. But anyway, check it out. Link in the description. With that, until next time, stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.